minutes here, and then I gotta go eat breakfast. Let's shape some of these trees just so you guys can see. So I can still use my big flat brush. And again, with the dancing motion, I'm just gonna look for the trunk, bring it down. And I'm just going to let this kind of dance and move. I can get a little closer if I get insecure. But usually being insecure actually makes my marks more insecure. So a lot of times it feels weird to reach back on the brush, but just trust it when you're getting to organic shapes.
You know, pencil extenders or like the graphite or charcoal things, they're like these holders. A friend gave me a pack of them the other day, and I realized I can lounge in front of this painting and put a brush in an extender and then just like magic wand in the direction of the painting. Highly recommend.
Absolutely. What I do is, so here's my short brush, right? That's like a house brush or whatever. This is, let me see if I can hold them up at the same time. So you can see the difference. It's twice as long.
Yeah.
Here's my advanced brush.
Oh, I like that one.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't have one that long.
Handle.
Where did you get that? I need one.
Did you make it?
Yeah, a friend of mine made it. It's
Oh,
called
I
the
see it.
Michael Orwick Triple XL,
Oh,
size 10. Yeah, one of my students who was a woodworker made it for me. It's literally a decoration.
We're making merch for you. That's going to be the merch.
My studio, seeing it hanging on the wall. But this one I do use, and actually I have like 3 or 4 of them. And what's really nice is it's great for the early sketching stages because I see the whole surface on a big painting, right? If you're using a little brush, you're up against it. So there's this reason it's not going to have the same control, of course. But when I'm just blocking in big shapes and again, letting my arms and hands dance and move and trying to find the poetic shapes or the sexy lines or whatever it is. Yeah. So big brushes are fun. I've never even used this one.
It's okay. It's just cool to have.
Right. Go put it back in its holding place on the wall.
yeah. Oh, that's sweet.
All right, so let's go back to these trees for a little bit. And so, I mean, I've got the big flat that I'm using, which is great. Get back to some darks. But I want to warm those darks up. So I'm not afraid to mix my reds right with my blacks or whatever other colors, just when I know that they're on the warm side of everything. So you'll see how they'll start to jump across and fight against those cool neutral backgrounds. Can you begin to see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so just thinking, okay, I like this shape of this tree, maybe bring up some, or I could simply use a liner fine brush. Just means I'm going to be making more marks. So a lot of times what I will do is start with my bigger brush, knock in. So I'm just going to put in a couple trees real quick. Knock in, and I'm turning the brush. I've kept it flat so that I can make small shapes, or I can make big shapes, right? You can see how fine an edge I can make.
Yeah.
So I'm turning and twisting as I go out towards the edge of those branches. 2 things are happening. I'm turning my brush towards the fine edge, right? Turning my brush towards the fine edge. And then I'm also changing my pressure from pushing more to pushing less and less and less. Right? So there's 2 ways to get these edges as you move from the interiors of trees to the exteriors of trees. That goes for the trunks. And that goes for the branches, because so many of you guys are ending your branches thicker than you started them, or ending your trunks thinner than you started them. But just remember that it starts at the ground thinner or thicker and goes to thinner. Same thing happens with the branches. You also don't want your branches only growing off the edges, right? They don't just grow off the sides of the tree. That would mean somebody came through and clear cut the tree on your side, right? You know what I mean? That's not what happens. So the branches are going between you and the trunk. Please let me know if that makes sense, or if that was.
That's a
But
beautiful tree.
So many of us
Yes.
do this, where we paint a tree, right, a trunk,
Yeah,
and then we paint branches off the edges.
yeah. Linda does
Right.
that.
Stop it, Linda. Those tree branches come in front of that trunk
Yeah.
and behind it. Trying to think of interesting shapes I can bring in here into these trees. So in the beginning, as a general rule, I'm thinking silhouettes. What's the shadow forms? What's the big, dark, and light? Right? I'm thinking these trees are coming down this hillside, right?
Yeah.
And then as they wrap up and around, they're going up that side of the hillside. Imagine if I just did a whole forest of trees with them just growing off the edges, right? Just does not look good. So you want them growing across the front. And when I come back in with lighter colors and catching that light, then I can really play that up. I can show you that that light is hitting those tops of those branches into those needles. Does that make sense?
That's like
Yes.
icing on the cake.
Exactly. So yeah, my next step would be figuring out what's the underlying big structure of this grouping of trees. And then I would come through and split it up, including, which this is probably the part I'm most excited about, is bringing that light into some of these trunks
Mhm.
so that they're, not just sitting on the tops. Some of them are, some of them aren't. And I can use that as part of my concave shape, that leading line of where do the trunks come from.
So Michael, when you said figuring out the overall structure of your group of trees, well, what did you mean?
Oh, no, perfect question. Thank you. All right, well, class is over, so just kidding. Yeah. What I meant is just imagine it as the whole bunch of trees, not as a tree and another tree, but think of the whole bunch of trees as just a grouping that makes a silhouette or a big form, a big shape.
Mhm.
So what I'm thinking about is, like, what is that shape of a bunch of trees? I don't want to go in and paint one tree and then the next tree and then the next tree. It's much easier. Okay, here, let's see. Great question. So imagine I just painted this big dark shape, right?
Yeah.
And I just thought that's a pretty good group of trees. Maybe I get in here a little more, maybe a little more up here. Right? So
Mhm.
this group of trees is now one big dark shape,
Yeah.
right? I got to figure out what to do with this, but in a general sense. So now I know that these aren't one big clump of trees, it's multiple trees put together. I've got to figure out how much information do I need to use to separate that group of trees.
So coming at it from the big shape to the smaller shapes as opposed to.
Yes, yeah. So I started with a no tan. It's dark and light, right? No tan, black and white.
Yeah.
Now I can I'm going to think about the darks, the shapes of those trees. So we know that the light's coming from this side. We know that it's hitting some of these trees. This one, we know that it'll be hitting over, on this side. But this is where it gets trickier and more fun. Is over here, we've got this light coming up this cliff, right? So that means that the light's also coming up the tree that's on the cliff. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much, but that's okay.
It's not too
That's
much.
better.
Yeah.
And watch what happens. So now I know that this tree is over here.
Oh, look, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That sets it down.
And it's in the foreground. It's in front of all these others.
Yeah.
So even though it feels like I'm obliterating all those trees behind it, this tree's in the foreground. It doesn't care about those trees behind it.
That was like the person that stood up at the concert in front of me.
That's 100% with the big hat. Oh, I hate that guy.
I got really mad and balled around,
Yeah.
which I don't normally do. It didn't work.
Yeah. You're like, Abe Lincoln, why'd you wear that hat to this concert? Yeah, and then I can, if I overdid the shapes, I just come back in with some darks.
Yes.
Cut into those.
Yeah, that looks nice.
One of my favorite.
And now does it feel like this tree is on this cliff?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, and then I'll do the same thing back here with this guy.
Is that,
Normally you would clean the brush, but
Mm-hmm.
looks like a bird is about to land on the top of that tree.
it is.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah, so that's it. I mean, it's just building structure over and over and over and thinking about what's the temperature of the color, what's the temperature of the light, what's the mother color. Oh man, it's all of these things, right? It's
Right.
so much. And it is a lot of thought in the beginning. It really, really is. And it's a lot of practice. It's a lot of back and forth. And the cool thing, the great thing, the wonderful thing is you never figure it out.
Right.
You
That's
just
the
get
best.
closer.
That's the best part. We always
That
have
is the
something to
best.
strive for.
Always, yeah.
And watching it emerge.
Yes. It's like magic when he does it.
It is. It is.
Wow,
There we go.
beautiful.
Cool, cool, cool.
That is so
Well, you guys, as always, were so generous with me, so patient. We once again did not look at your guys' work.
We're
I didn't
learning.
do anything.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's
Yeah.
why then. All right, let me go ahead and stop this. Oh my gosh, so many of you still here.
Thank
I
you.
literally thought some of you would be hungry by now. All right, well, any questions? And did that make sense about just the
Yes.
foreground,
Yeah.
changing the angles, figuring out what you can do, what you can bring out? I was thinking a lot about Linda Camarado's photos that she shares with us from the desert
So
and how her foreground, it's all about these gorgeous skies, right? And her foregrounds are very difficult to even figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of information. So what you do is you begin to look for that information. You begin to decide what parts of that are important, what parts of it are not important. And you get to decide, where do you want these lines to move? And what we're using to lead our eye through it are lines, which are obvious, right? But I will also want you to think about lines in a different way. Is lines are anywhere two contrasting things meet up. That can be colors, that can be values, that can be temperature, will create a line. So that will also lead the viewer, all right? You also have, you know, where is the focal areas? And if you guys want to continue to think focal point, that's fine. I know we are all raised and trained on that. But I just think it's a misnomer. I think that focal area is a better use of the term. And I believe that a painting should have multiple focal areas, but they have to have a subordinates to each other. So your focal area can be in the foreground, can be in the midground, can be in the background, it can be in all three, but you just want to have a idea of how do you want, what is the hierarchy of them, right? I think of Graham's paintings in this instance, where Graham really likes hard edges and beautiful colors, right? So our eye moves throughout the painting, you know, easily and quickly. But and when I talk to Graham, hopefully I'm not offending you by saying this. Like that's what we've talked about is there's areas where you could lose edges because whenever you have a hard edge, which creates a line, the eye is attracted to it. And if you don't want the viewer there, so sometimes it's not so much as what's the focal area, but it's what's not the focal area.
Right.
Right. And it doesn't have to mean just softening the lines. It can mean just keeping your values closer together in that area, or your temperatures or your color contrast closer together in those areas.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, the big point of this whole class, and I know we're only on class 5 and we still have 6 and 7, but is how do we tell the story? How do we move the viewer through our piece? And I don't know if we think of that when we look at paintings, but it really is important. And so your guys' homework from now until the end of class is to work on one painting that's a little more thoughtful. One painting where you're conveying, it doesn't have to be any specific story, doesn't have to be any certain design, but I just want you to think about it, that extra step of what is the story? How do I want to move the audience through this piece? And that's it. That's your homework. We will have next week where I will be more finished with these paintings, probably work on them tomorrow. And then on the 6th day, I will talk about glazing and just doing slight color shifts to kind of finish it. Again, I'm thinking about Michelle. I'm talking about a couple other students who've just asked me that a lot of times. It's like, I would love to see that stage. So hopefully you guys are all cool with that.
Yeah.
And then on the final class, it is mostly going to be just really reflecting on the class as a whole, me really pushing hard to try to sell the next class.
I'm in.
Just kidding.
I'm in.
All right, yay. But no, it's going to be about looking at your guys' work. And so anything that you kind of want to sign up, we'll have basically 2.5 hours to really look at your guys' work, come in open-minded and really willing to help each other. Yeah, any questions about today and Foreground?
That was excellent. Excellent.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's truly the first time I really taught it in that kind of detail. So it was a lot of fun. It was really fun to think about it for the last week or two.
Like I said, I learned so much more from discussing how to put it in, and you like this part? No, let's cover that part up, and this is the way this is going to work. Seeing it happen is what really makes a difference in how I learn.
I agree, and I like your hearing your thought processes. It's like when we were talking about the trees, you're like, no, I have an idea. And then for me, that was just so great to remember that you've said paintings have to go through ugly adolescent stages and you have to be comfortable with that before you get to the part where it's finished and looking better.
Just like all of us, we've made it through that, and now we're all just nothing but beautiful.
Every moment.
All right, you guys are fantastic. I really did appreciate the early conversation and the give and take and doing a community painting. And you guys were all right. That was perfect. Perfect feedback. It was so fun. So thank you guys so much. I'll see some of you, hopefully all of you tomorrow. Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
All right. Take
Thank
care,
you.
everybody.
Very much.
Have a
Thank
good-
you.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great day. Bye.
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 Linda, Linda, look at the horse thing.
Okay.
Thank you, Michael. Bye.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Thank you guys. I had a great time today.
It was fun.